Hello! So today I want to talk about co-op games, and in particular couch co-op games or like split screen. So I've probably had some of the best experiences in video gaming playing couch co-op games. I just really enjoy them. I like being able to sort of tackle the world with a friend or a partner, and they're the kind of games that I really resonate with mostly. So I want to talk about 10 couch co-op games that I've really enjoyed that are not necessarily particularly mainstream or might have been overlooked, and some hidden gems that you might not have heard of too. So let's get into it. So in at number 10 we have Lord of the Rings War in the North. Now this is one of my favourite co-op games to play. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, then you will really enjoy this. You get to play as one of 3 characters. You get an elf, a ranger or a dwarf, and you can team up and basically tackle the world of Middle-earth, and it kind of runs alongside the movies. So you get to meet a lot of the characters from the movies, you get to go to a couple of locations from the movies, but really it is its own separate story and has its own separate boss battles and enemies. It is a sort of third-person RPG. It has some great RPG elements to it, and is a really replayable story as well. There are some elements that you'll get on your second playthrough, such as like some side missions and some upgrades that you can't get in your first play. But it's just a really great experience just to sort of play this with a friend, especially because you can actually sort of help each other out, and you can, form shields and heal each other, things like that. So yeah, I definitely recommend this one if you haven't played it yet. So in at number 9 is Fear 3. Now this is a game that I've mentioned before on my top 20 horror games list, so I'll leave a link to that in the description if you haven't seen it before. But this is, as I say, a horror game. You play as one of 2 characters. The first one is a lot like the sort of protagonist of the first 2 games. He has the ability to sort of slow down time. He has like heightened senses, so you can go into sort of like a bullet time Matrix mode and take people out that way. It's very, very impressive, and it's a lot of fun. The other character is one of the main enemies from the first 2 games, and he is now dead, but he can possess people, and he can also use sort of telekinesis to sort of pick people up, and the other guy can shoot them. So you can do a lot with this, and you can work together quite well. It's not too scary. It does have really good horror elements in it, but I will say that if you're a sort of fan of the horror genre and you want something that's got that kind of darker vibe to play with a friend, this is definitely one to check out. And it's not too long either. It does mean that you could probably sort of finish it in one night if you wanted to, but it's just a really great experience. So yeah, check out Fear 3, see what you think. So in at number 8 is a proper hidden gem, and this is one called Death Row. This is an original Xbox exclusive, and it does work on the 360, and this is like a sort of futuristic sports game. Now, I'm not a fan of sports by any means, especially sports games, but this one really caught my eye, and I remember when it sort of came out, it just sort of flew under the radar, and for some reason me and my friends picked it up and just fell in love with it. So you're in a futuristic sports league where you have a sort of hovering flying ring that you can throw, a bit like Xena's Chakram, and you can throw that through the goal from sort of anywhere on the pitch if you get good at it, if you get the skills to do so. If you're against a team that is slightly better than you, or is just running rings around you because they're very fast, you can also beat each other up. It's a no-holds-barred fight game as well, so you can basically throw the opponents around, you can stamp on them while they're on the ground, all these different things, and their energy will go down to the point where in the next round they can be sort of holding their arm and limping around until they get to some health. It's a really fun game to play, and there's so many different things to unlock in this game as well, whether it be different kinds of stadium to play in or different teams. You have teams like sort of mutants and monsters and ninjas, all sorts of things like that. With this game you have two different views as well, so you have like a sort of top-down sports view, and then you also have what's known as the action view, which is more like a sort of third-person view as well. I tend to prefer that one. When you're playing co-op, it really pays to sort of pay attention to what's going on around you, so you can sort of pass to each other and things like that. Or if you want to play dirty and you want to win the league by just kicking the crap out of everyone, you can do that too. But the league mode in this that most sort of sports games have is a bit crazy. There's lots of things that you can do, like you can take experimental drugs that you don't know what's going to happen to the players that have taken it. You can train up some of your players so that they're incredibly unbeatable, so if you get into a fight you'll just knock your opponent out. You could do all sorts of things like that and get a really bad reputation in the league, and loads of different shady sponsors will send you money for it, and you could also bet on your team winning or losing as well to get some more money for your team. So as you can tell, I'm still in love with this game all these years later, and whenever I meet people who've never played it, I always want to play it with them just to introduce them to it. It takes a little bit of time to get into the sort of skill of it when you're actually trying to sort of score goals and things like that, but once you do, it's so rewarding, and you just feel like an absolute badass when you're getting your team to the top of the league. So if you can find Death Row, get on it, you'll really enjoy it. So in at number 7 is a game called Fuse. Now, this one I think got overlooked when it came out, but it is like the ultimate co-op game for me. It's a sort of action third-person RPG. You play 4 characters, like a team of characters, who discover this energy source called Fuse, which not only gives their weapons these crazy abilities, but also starts to give them special powers as well. So this game has a story mode, and when you discover the Fuse and these new weapons, each of you gets a different kind of weapon. One of you has a shield, another one of you can heal people, one of you has like a sort of sniper rifle that can pin people to the walls, and another one gets a warp rifle, which is quite cool. It creates like black holes and you can get everyone to get sucked into a black hole. It's got a really good story to it. It's not anything groundbreaking, but it's just thoroughly fun to play, and you can actually change to other characters on the fly as well, which is quite helpful. A good thing about this game as well is that there's lots of stuff to do. There's so much to unlock. There's different skins for the characters to unlock. There's different modes. There's also a horde mode, which is quite good. So you get waves of characters coming at you that you have to defeat, and when you defeat a wave, lots of huge gold coins come raining down from the sky, sort of old school video game style. So yeah, if you can find Fuse, it's available on the 360 and the PS3. It's such a good game to play with friends. So this one's a bit of a controversial one, but in at number 6 is Resident Evil 6. Now, I know that this is probably most people's lowest point in the franchise, and I did actually enjoy the action games of the Resident Evil franchise, so like 4, 5 and 6. Number 6, I would say, is just a good one to play co-op with a friend. If you're not looking for something that's, sort of really heavily steeped in the Resident Evil lore, you just want a really good time and a good game to play with someone else, then this is the one to go for. It's not too scary. It does have 3 different campaigns. All of them are co-op, and an extra campaign that you can unlock as well, which is kind of like a best of, where you get to play Ada Wong. But the 3 campaigns that you get are all very different, but all the stories kind of intertwine, so you meet all the characters that you haven't played in the others yet. It is a really good game, and the only thing that I don't like about it is the way that they split the screen. For some reason they split them like diagonally, and they have like a black border around them. So if you can play it on quite a big screen or maybe a projector, you'll probably get the most out of it because you'll have a big screen to work with. But yeah, I really enjoyed this game. I thought it was great fun. It was a lot better than number 5, because in this one you can actually walk and shoot at the same time, whereas in Resident Evil 5, whenever you raise your gun, you stop. That was quite annoying. But yeah, I know that a lot of people don't like this game, but if you play it with a friend, I promise you, you'll have a good time. So number 5 is a little bit of a change of pace. This one is Epic Mickey 2. So this is the Epic Mickey series is basically Mickey Mouse has a sort of magic paintbrush, and he is going around restoring colour to this place called the Wasteland. Which is basically sort of killing off, different parts of the Disney world. With Epic Mickey 2, you obviously play co-op. You have a split screen scenario. One of you plays Mickey Mouse with the paintbrush, and the other one plays a new character which has almost like a sort of gadget that does all sorts of things, but it can mainly like electrify all the enemies. I really enjoyed this. It's very easy to play. The story mode is hilarious and features loads and loads of different characters from all over the sort of Disney universe, but also the voice acting in this is great. Now, with this being a Mickey Mouse game, obviously this is one that the whole family can enjoy. You can play it with people with all ages and everyone will enjoy it, but it's also quite fun to watch as well. As someone that didn't mind watching other people play this, I was actually enjoying it quite a lot, just being a spectator. So yeah, I definitely recommend this game. It's a really good laugh. So in at number 4 is Hunted: The Demon's Forge. So this is another third-person action RPG. You play as either a barbarian or an elf, and you're basically tackling the world together and sort of taking on loads of demons and bosses, things like that. It's quite a difficult game in some respects, just to get to grips with. There's a lot to do and there's a lot to discover, and the RPG elements do keep you on your toes, trying to keep up with whichever weapon is going to be the best for the way that you play, but it has a great story to it, and the voice acting for the two main characters is incredible. Also, Lucy Lawless does the voice of one of the other characters as well, which is quite good. But yeah, if you haven't played this one, it kind of flew under the radar again for a lot of people, but definitely try and find it. It's got so much to do, and also there is some DLC for it, so you can also get extra things for when you finish. But yeah, I highly recommend this one, and it'll definitely keep you going for quite a long time. It's quite a good game. So in at number 3, we have Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. Now this is one that I've already mentioned in my Mortal Kombat video that I released last time, so I'll put that in the description as well. But this one is probably my favourite co-op game. And it follows the story of Mortal Kombat 2. You play Liu Kang and Kung Lao, and you go through the story basically just unlocking loads of crazy powers, different fatalities, all sorts of different skills that you can get as well. But the good thing about this, as usual with NetherRealm and Ed Boon, or Midway I guess as it was at the time, they just fill the disc with so much content. So there's loads of different puzzles to go through with this one, and certain puzzles allow you to unlock the Mortal Kombat 2 arcade game. Not only that, but you have a multiplayer sort of arena style version of the game that you can unlock as well. And then once you finish the story, you can also unlock Sub-Zero and Scorpion to play as those characters in the story as well, with their abilities and their fatalities. Another good thing about this one as well is you have something called a mortality, which means that you and the other character can basically join forces and do a sort of fusion co-op move and take everyone out in the vicinity. And it's just so much fun. It's a really great game to play, and it's also got some really great elements to it that are hidden. So there's certain bosses that you wouldn't find the first time around until you go through it again. So yeah, if you can get hold of this, definitely check it out. I absolutely love this game, and I wish that they would do some kind of like a remaster or reissue of it, just because it's such a great classic in the Mortal Kombat franchise that I think a lot of people just overlooked at the time. But it's a great looking game. It's very much like a sort of Prince of Persia style action game, and I hope that everyone gets to play it at some point just to see what it's like. So in at number 2, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. Now this is nothing to do with the movie of the same name, but obviously has all the same characters in it. This one is a really sort of stylized comic book style Turtles game. Obviously you can play all 4 turtles, and it just follows the comic books to a T. It looks great. It's a really stylish, sort of colourful, vibrant game, but also a lot of great RPG elements in there as well. There's lots of different things that you can do to sort of unlock different moves, different weapons, things like that. But also you can combine your efforts and do moves where you sort of jump off another turtle and attack other people. Also, when you're not fighting, you can team up and have a dance together, or do different little interactions with different turtles, or all 4 of you at the same time. So it's just one that any Turtles fan should play. This one is so good. The story's great. Obviously you've got all the classic villains in there as well, but it's just one of those games where whenever you play it, you want someone else to experience it. And as soon as I picked it up, I knew that this was going to be a great co-op game, and it is. It's so much fun. So before I reveal my last pick, I want to hear from you, and let me know in the comments what your favourite couch co-op games are, if you've played any of the games that I've mentioned in this video, or even if you're liking the look of one of them and you end up buying it. But yeah, just let me know. Obviously, if you do enjoy this video or any of my other videos, make sure you leave a like, the old thumbs up, and also do all those nice YouTube things. Subscribe if you haven't already, because it really helps the channel out, and it helps me sort of reach more people, which is always nice. Yeah, let's get into the final pick. So last but not least, at number 1, we have Streets of Rage 4. So obviously this is a sequel to the 3 Streets of Rage games that we had in the 90s, and these are classic couch co-op games. I mean, these games you can't get much better in terms of side-scroller beat-em-ups. And this one is a really stunning hand-drawn animated game, and it just looks beautiful. It's ridiculously colourful. It's incredibly fun to play, quite tough in places as well, but once you get used to the controls again, it just becomes really rewarding. It's got a great soundtrack to it. So even though I did find that this game felt quite short, and I was a little bit disappointed with the ending, which you'll probably see when you play it, it's just a lot of fun to play, and it does make you want to play it over and over again, which is good, because the more you play it, the more characters you unlock. So you can unlock all of the characters from the first 3 Streets of Rage games, and they're exactly the same as they were back in the day. They're still a little bit pixelated, but they have all their moves and all their sort of weapon sets that they had from back in the 90s. So even that itself made me want to continue and actually unlock as much as I could, just to make sure that I could play all those classic characters. But recently it's been announced that we have some new Streets of Rage 4 content coming, so there's going to be some DLC out pretty soon, and we get new characters, we get new scenarios and levels and new game modes, things like that. So if there's ever a time to get on this game and find out for yourself how amazing it is, it's now, because obviously by the time you've unlocked everything, there's going to be new stuff to do. So yeah, definitely check this game out, and don't sleep on this one, because it is so much fun, and you can play it with up to 4 players as well. So yeah, get even more people involved. It's great. So that's it. That's 10 couch co-op games that I recommend, ones that might have been overlooked or you might not have played. Let me know in the comments if you have played any of these, or if you've got any recommendations for me of any of these sort of couch co-op type games that you think I'd enjoy. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.